Hi everybody, it's Diane. I'm back with ArtStudio app, another session about lettering and how we're going to create some kind of a, not really truly a bubble letter, but kind of letter similar to the My Singing Monsters logo. So we're going to insert I love. I love. We're going to make it bigger here. Right now I'm kind of just looking at fonts. I'm just going to stick it up here in the corner while we kind of look at some different fonts and what they look like. So you can start with your whatever you're going to create, type it, and then just kind of go through, scroll through your lettering until you see one that you kind of like. And perhaps you'll like it for one letter but not the other letters. So just kind of glance at the whole word as we kind of, go through and see if we want to use any of these letterings or fonts. This one is one I use probably most of any font for this type of lettering. I use chalkboard bold. But if you're looking for something that's got a bit of a different style to it, you can use even something like this one. Well, actually, let's try this one. Okay, done. Let's make it bigger. It's got some pretty sharp edges, but we're going to get rid of those sharp edges. Done. Let's go to, oops, got a rasterize. Not a word that I'm really familiar with. I'd never heard of it until I used this app. So I had to make that, it's no longer a font, or a text. I can't change the lettering now. It's more of a picture that I can manipulate, but I'm going to go to distort, and I'm going to straighten out the italic part of it. I want my letters a little straighter. And I'm looking at the L, mostly the I. We can fix that one later. So, okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is make a duplicate layer. Merge down. That's just to make it a little bit more sharper. And then I'm going to make another duplicate layer. And this one I'm going to move, transform layer and move. And now we can kind of start changing our lettering a little bit to make it longer, taller, wider, thicker in spots. And I'm just kind of looking at, oh yeah, probably something like that. Okay, so you'll notice there's the airspace between the lettering, but I'm just kind of using the basic shape of the lettering for an idea. So I'm going to merge these two layers down. So now we're working with one word again. So I'm going to take my pencil and in black, I'm going to fill in any spaces where there's, and I'm also rounding out any sharp edges. I don't want any sharp points. Oops. And I'm just kind of rounding this out where the one met the other. Kind of like this little bump here, I want that to be a nice round so that they can't tell that we've blended two letters together. So you see how that's already kind of shaping up to be kind of a cool letter. And that's just using one font and manipulating a second layer, kind of placing it wherever you want to place it. Kind of an interesting shape to this L, but again I'm going to kind of round out some corners here. Whoops. Ooh, that's kind of a big eraser here. So erase where you want, fill in where you want with your black pencil. You get the idea. It's just kind of a fun way to pick some lettering that is a little bit different than the lettering that we use all the time. The I, we're going to go back and work with the I a little bit better in a minute here. I am going to manipulate this lettering to kind of match the silhouette of the My Singing Monsters logo. Okay, generally looks like we're good to go. So the next thing I'm going to do is duplicate this layer, merge down. I'm going to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want 5 copies of this, so I'm going to duplicate until I have 5 copies. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so the first layer, I want to keep the letter I, so I'm going to erase the rest of it. I'm going to just hide these other layers for just a moment. And we're going to go back to our first layer, and we're going to erase everything except for the letter I. Okay, and now I'm going to hide the letter I, and this layer, I'm going to erase everything except for the letter L. Okay, and then the next layer, make it your active layer. I'm going to erase everything except for the O. And then the next layer, we want to erase everything except for the V. You see where I'm going with this. We just want one layer for each letter so we can manipulate each letter. So I'm going to erase everything except for the E. So now I should have one letter on each layer so I can change and manipulate each letter as I would like to. So let's open them all up. Okay, So let's start with the letter I first of all, and we're going to edit distort. We're going to straighten him up a little bit. Okay, that looks pretty good. Edit, transform layer, move and scale, and it's going to be right above there, I think would be a good spot for it. Let's take the L and move it. Edit, transform layer, move and scale. And I'm going to just slightly change it. Oops. Yeah, I kind of like that. Didn't mean to do that, but I like it. See how that those kind of things happen. So let's maybe round out a little bit of this. And I'm going to round this out a little bit too. Okay, so there's our L. I think that looks pretty good. Now let's move our O. Edit, transform, move, scale, rotate. Kind of just that's a good spot. Okay, let's try the V, see what happens. Edit, transform, move, scale, rotate. I'm just going to kind of twist it slightly at an angle. And I'm going to go to Edit, Distort. Now I'm going to do horizontal, which means I can't wiggle it back and forth. It just stretches up or down. And I wanted it to kind of go down here just a little bit. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, so let's do the same with the E. Let's select our E layer. Edit, transform, move and scale. So let's bring E over here. That looks really good. I like it. Okay, so if you like the placement of the lettering and you like the shape of your lettering, I think that looks pretty good. I might move that E over just a little bit. Just slightly over here so it's not quite so close to the V. And the O might be a little bit close to the V. So I'm going to choose the O layer. And I'm going to just erase a little bit off the side of the O. Just so it's not quite, whoops, a little bit much. Big Blue Bubble was at a comic convention this weekend, and they gave 10 diamonds to everybody who did a hashtag Big Blue Bubble at this comic festival. And so we got 10 diamonds if we did that. And then they were going to give away 100 diamonds to a random player. And one of my Twitter friends just won 100 diamonds from Big Blue Bubble today. So I told him congratulations, so you just saw a couple tweets that came across. He favorited those tweets. So I think the O we're going to distort a little bit. Let's go to distort. Might just drag that down there a little bit. What do you think? Okay, edit, transform, move. I'm just gonna. I'm always tweaking. I just fiddle with these, and I think the L. I'm gonna get rid of that high part of that L too. Just a little bit of it. Okay, I love. So let's merge those layers down together. Another thing that you can do with your lettering, if you're so inclined, is going over here to Filters, Distort, and Elastify. And then you can kind of just wiggle the letters to be something, you know, just slightly off, so they're not perfectly see how I'm kind of just changing that V a little bit. I'm going to reset it because I'm not sure if I like that or not. But so you can go in and play with that too. Yeah. So anyway, okay, so we've merged our layers down together. We're going to duplicate, merge down. We're going to do that again. Duplicate, merge down, duplicate. One more time. Okay, so we're not going to touch this layer. We're going to work with this layer now. We're going to just pick this color green off of the My Singing Monsters logo. You see the active colors at the top of the square over here. So we're going to go to Filters, Stylize, Glow, 100%, and let's take this, just for time's sake, we're going to take it to 4. I don't normally use 4, I use 1 or 2. So take the time to do 1 or 2. And then just keep creating your layer till it's nice and thick. But I'm just using a 4 blur radius to go quicker, just so this video is not ridiculously long. Because it's already getting long, but and I'm kind of going to do this till I close the E for sure. One more. Apply. Okay, and that's not very thick, so I'm going to keep going. I'm looking for the thickness of the green to be similar to the amount of border I see around My Singing Monsters. So I'm just going to keep going here a couple more times. When I duplicate my layers and merge them down, you're going to see it grow, because right now there's blurry color that we don't really see. So maybe I'll do it one more time. Okay, let's do duplicate that layer, duplicate, merge down. We're going to do this a few times. Duplicate, merge down, duplicate, merge down, duplicate, merge down. If you do this with a 1 or 2, you only have to do this a couple times. But with a blur radius of 4, we've got a lot of blurriness that's spread out there, so we're trying to get rid of that. Okay, I think we got it. Okay, so what I noticed here is some spots, specks of color. I'll close that, how that appeared, so I'm going to erase that before I go any further. And look and see if there's anything else out there. I don't think so. So let's actually just color this part in. And I don't know how I ended up with a black glow on the outside edge of that. That's interesting. I don't like that. I'm undoing here. Okay, let's try a filter stylized glow 1. Apply. Filter stylized glow. Apply. Okay, let's try that. And then let's get rid of this one. Delete. Okay. Let's get rid of that little funky little spot there. Okay, so our active layer is the green around the black, so we're going to duplicate, merge it down, duplicate again, and merge down. Okay, so now we're going to go in and just kind of paint that in there. Okay, so we've got that one finished. We're going to do another layer in blue, so let's make a duplicate layer, and this one is going to be surrounded with the blue. So let's pick the blue, and now we're going to go to filter, stylize, glow. Let's do 3. You won't believe what I did. I created this video and it was 45 minutes long. And I thought, that's ridiculous. So I deleted it. I did another one and I got it down to 35 minutes. I thought, okay, well, at least I'm, 10 minutes shorter. And you wouldn't believe it. I went into my photos and I deleted it. I deleted my second video. So this is the third time I'm recreating something. And each time I created something totally different than the other time. Because I was trying to just kind of do this organically. Let it become what it is as we are working on it. It takes about an hour upload time for every 10 minutes of video. Ugh, crazy. I gotta find another way to do this. I really don't want to have to work at my computer to create these things. I want to be able to do this on my iPad, but I haven't found any great screen recorder or great way to do this, and also a quicker way to upload. I want to at least have the I and the L start to connect so they look like they're, you know, part of the same grouping. Okay, we're almost there. In fact, let's try that. Duplicate, merge down, duplicate, merge down, duplicate, merge down. Okay, so the next thing I would do is cut out the lettering. I'm going to choose the black I love, and then go to select, alpha to selection, and I'm going to stop for just a moment here. Let's do deselect. I just noticed another little funky little spot that I gotta erase here. Oh, and that's on this layer here. Okay. Which means there's probably a spot here in that layer and in this layer. So I'll just erase in that same spot on all three layers. Okay, let's go back to our black lettering and go to select, alpha to selection. Then we're going to go to our black and green layer and go to edit, clear selection. So what we've created now is just the frame of green. We're going to insert another layer that we're going to fill with some color, some shading of color, if you will. I'm going to pick the yellow, and I'm going to pick dark orange. Oh, okay, let's try picking that yellow again. So we've got the two colors up here in our box. So when I do a shading here, it'll be the two colors you see up here. So we're going to select our active layers, that blank layer, and we're going to fill with color. Okay, that looks good. So let's go to select, deselect. Okay. So then we're going to move this up here on top of the black, blue, and green. And then we're going to move our green frame on top of that. And so now we've got three layers. We've got our frame of green, we've got our colored layer that we just created, and we've got our background layer. So we want all three layers. We want to have all three layers. So now I can put shadows into my colored layer. Filters, stylize, drop shadow, inner glow. Make sure it's inner glow. Let's try a blur radius of, let's do 21. Offset a little bit here. Let's just try that and see how that looks. Did I pick my, yes, what's going on here? Oh, forgot to do it in black. It changed it. Okay, black. We want to do that in black. Filter, stylize, drop shadow in black. Okay, you see how that immediately drops that letter down into the green and becomes very dimensional. So the next thing I'm going to do is add a little bit of this green that's on the top edge of My Singing Monsters logo, and I'm going to put that on the green frame. So green frame, I'm going to do the same. Filter, stylize, drop shadow. I'm going to just reduce this blur radius a little bit down to 2 and 4. And blur radius will drop down to quite a bit. Maybe even 2, 3. Let's try that. I don't see it much. Trying to find a nice lighter. There, let's try that one. Okay, let's try it again. Filter, stylize, drop shadow, apply. There, that showed up on the edge there. Much better. Okay, so there's our lettering all finished. If you want to add a little bit of a white edge to the blue, so that we'd do the same to the blue layer. Okay, filter, stylize, drop shadow, inner shadow, apply, and that'll add a little bit of a white edge to the blue. So there we go. There's our stylized letters. You get the idea. Just using a second layer and sliding it over to, change your letter to a bigger, thicker letter, and then just kind of draw on and manipulate it as you would like, and have fun with that. I really have a lot of fun with that, and now that we've done that, we can make any color we want behind that green frame, so I can, change that. I can change this by going to hue, adjust hue, and you'll see how it changes my color behind that. I can go and change the color of the frame if I want by selecting the frame and then adjust hue. And you see how I'm manipulating colors as well, because I've done it in layers, which is kind of a pretty cool way to do that. Apply. So I'm going to do undo, undo. I can select my colored layer here, select alpha to selection, and now I can airbrush if I want to do it with the greens. And the yellows and orange. I'm going to do a little bit more green here. So maybe you like the lettering that color. But anyway, alpha, deselect. So yeah, have fun with that. I enjoy creating these letters, and you will too now. I'll talk to you guys soon. Comment below if you have things you want to show me, or comment below if you have any questions of things you want me to show you, or questions on what you're doing here. But I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye now.